On another story, Nirvana, your dog, Nirvana Nokwe, it's revealed that co-star Bongo Koza sexually violated her.
And I'm done. You don't necessarily have to have been penetrated to have been violated. Why can't he understand the boundaries of my vagina?
On another story, Nirvana, your dog, Nirvana Nokwe.
Hey, my boy. What happened?
South African actress Nirvana Nokwe, Mselegu, known for her role as Sitle Viela on Outlaw Season 1, has revealed that co-star Bongo Koza sexually violated her.
How? Isn't that your homie?
Violated her during shooting
Bongo
of a scene for Showmax's Red Ink in
Bongo's
September
your homie, dog.
2023.
You got pictures with that Bongo guy, dog.
It is alleged that Bongo
I'll admit
Koza
after I hear the story.
got carried away during the shooting. It is alleged that Bongo Koza got carried away during the shooting of the scene, which led to the violation.
So I was saying, he is my homie because I'm a big fan of him. Love his work, bro. I don't miss anything he shot. I don't miss.
Yeah, let's go, Nirvana.
We're not friends. I got friends like your Tembinkos is from adulting, and
they all roll in circles.
Yeah, so I have
same squads.
I have those who I have, but no.
So out of all those squads, none of them have told you that this guy is a creep. This guy, touches women inappropriately. So you've never heard.
Hello, Nirvana.
Hi, Baba Njani.
Yaphila njani?
Ngikhona.
Ngiyaxolisa ukuhijack ne?
No, it's okay. What's up?
You are live on the show with you are live on Piano Pulse. Music Pulse. Shit, sorry. You are live on Music Pulse. Taki is here.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
Daughter is also here.
Hi, Nina. How are you?
I'm sure they're good. So who wants to start with the questions? You want to ask questions? Okay, first of all, man, because I know you, I'm going to ask you, how are you? Before I get to what's going on, how are you feeling, bro, after the whole thing we saw on the internet?
I'm all right. I mean, I'm with family, and I think more than anything, I've just been crying a lot because it's just so crazy to me that I've been spending 10, 11 years of my life chasing this thing in media and in acting, and the way I'm chasing it is so messed up because it's in a system that's set to abuse me, So I'm just like, what have I been doing? I'm begging the people that hurt me to, respect me. I've been crying, and it's tears of joy, and then also just letting go of so much pain that I've been holding in my chest. And it was coming out of my body, my energy, my essence. I felt off. So I'm just happy to be free. I don't want it anymore, and I'm done.
Okay.
It can feed itself. I'm not gonna feed it anymore.
Okay. For those who don't have context, can you comfortable telling us shortly, briefly, what happened? What is the actually assault?
Yeah, so I think I'll start with the definition of sexual assault, because a lot of people don't have the same definitions of sexual assault, and they don't understand what that is, right? Within the definition of sexual assault, there is rape, right? Which is penetrative, basically forcing someone to have sex with you. It's penetrative, right? And then there's sexual assault, right? Which is, which also encompasses rape, but you don't necessarily have to have been penetrated to have been violated your personal body, your personal space, your personal boundaries in a sexual way. Someone crossing that line and that boundary of your sexuality, which doesn't mean sex all the time, right? So what had happened was, I'm sure you guys know that on film sets, you basically when sex scenes are being performed or any other intimate scenes are being performed, it's usually rehearsed, right? So it becomes it becomes almost robotic, because you know exactly how, what the next step is for whatever intimacy is going on, right? And there are now intimacy coordinators on set, which are meant to be the people that basically manage the relationship between the people who are doing like intimacy scenes, right? So they will basically draft a contract and find out from you, what are you comfortable showing with your body, and what are you comfortable doing with your body, and what are you not comfortable doing with your body, right? And even there, even if an intimacy coordinator is not present on set, or if you're dealing with an intimacy coordinator who perhaps their values are a little screwed and they're actually causing more damage in managing the dynamic between you and your co-star, you also talk with production to kind of like try and cultivate a sense of safety doing those very vulnerable and intimate scenes, right? So my conversation with the production company was, hey, this is a story about rape and murder, right? I want to tell this story because this is what women and children are going through in South Africa, right? But I don't want to perform the rape, meaning there's not going to be any thrusting. I didn't want that, right? I didn't want to emulate the rape at all, right? If there's one thing that I emulated on screen was consensual sex. That's what I emulated. And for me, the boundary was I'm not going to emulate and expose myself to that kind of, I guess it's vulnerable for me because I've been raped before. So I was like, I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm going to trigger myself, but I know the line with me, which is I can perform and pretend as though it's happening through my performance, through the screaming and the shouts and the shouting and whatever. But he doesn't have to thrust me. He doesn't have to move his waist back and forth as though we are dry humping. That doesn't need to happen. And we all agreed and we workshopped it. So now, just before the scene, and we workshopped it extensively. For weeks we were talking about it and we worked on the scene. So there was no intimacy, only stunting. It was a stunt, right? Because it involved him stabbing the character, him doing all sorts of stuff and pushing her over the car bonnet, right? Just before we did the scene, my co-star says to me, yo, Nirvana, I think in that last moment, just give it a little flinch, you know? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, no, just give it a little flinch because that's how SAFTAs are attained. And I was like, okay, but what does that mean? We've already discussed the boundaries of the scene. Like, there's no thrusting. Like, we're not going to take it any further. I'm going to perform the scene in the way that I will perform the scene. And he's like, okay, but I'm just saying, just give it a think. We do the scene. He pushes me over the car bonnet. He lays on top of me on the car bonnet and he whispers whatever he says. And this is a close-up, right? Then he comes out the shot. He's no longer in the frame. And he thrusts me in that compromised position. His private parts were now in my booty, right?
Wait, the private part, his dick.
So let me clarify this, right? Because I said it's not rape, right? Okay. So it wasn't penetration. That's the clarity I want to give. It's not. There was no penetration. He was clothed. I was clothed as well, but I'm in a compromised position. I'm wearing a tights that's pretty much a bum shot, and because he lifted me, because he pushed me over the car bonnet, the skirt that I was wearing, the skirt that they chose for me to wear, it showed my bum, right? I was in a compromised position, right? So he decided when he got out of the frame to then thrust me, and so now no one called cut. And I'm just screaming and screaming now. And then he calls cut. And then the director comes on the set and he's like, you did a great job. You did a great job. It's all right. My co-star kisses my hand, right? And he's like, please, let's take a walk. And I say no. And my director's like, no, just take a walk with your co-star. I take a walk with him and I'm like, am I allowed to swear on this show?
Hey, like, this is not some SABC bullshit.
Okay, I'm like, what the fuck was that? Why did you thrust me? There was a clear boundary. My boundary was, you do not thrust me, right? And then he says, have grace, Nirvana. He's like, I take full accountability for what I did, but have grace. It's a 10 scene and a 10 set. Have grace. And I'm like, what do you mean have grace? So as we're going back and forth, one of the directors comes, and it wasn't the director working on the day, but he's a director who was going to continue with the other episodes of the show. So he was present on the day. He comes and he was like, Nirvana, do you need anything? Do you need tea? And I'm like, yeah, I would like some tea. And then he kind of stood there whilst we're having this back and forth, and then we're called back to the floor, right? On the floor, the main director asks, okay, so guys, are we okay? What's going on? Can we continue with the shoot? And my co-star says, and then I say, well, I'm comfortable to do the scene with him again if he doesn't thrust me this time. He shouldn't thrust me this time. I can do it with him again. He shouldn't trust me this time. And he's like, no, I'm not comfortable to do the scene with Nirvana again. I take full accountability for what I did, which is thrust her, but I'm not comfortable to do it with her again. Okay. And then I said, so here's another important point, and this is the last one I'll make. There was a double, right? The stunt double is meant to have my frame. And you know, we're meant to look similar in height and in body. The stunt double that they hired was a visibly pregnant woman. She was about 6 months pregnant, and it was so visible. And it was just like, why would you hire? Like, the reason I offered to do it again if he doesn't thrust me is because they hired it, that he can't do it with the stunt double. He wouldn't be able to do it with the stunt double. So yeah, I know it's a mouthful, but yeah. That's what it is.
I'm going to ask a couple of questions, bro. Obviously, I'm sorry going through this. I know you're strong. I don't know if you're strong enough to beat this, but I have a question. So, my question is, has he flirted with you before the set? Has he showed interest or Ruyakfuna or something, or you just noticed what happened on set?
It's still there.
Hello? Hello?
Are you still connected?
She's gone. I think it's network. I'll try.
From about a week, but we understand there's no data.
Did you see the statement that came through in one of the comments? Some woman sent a statement.
Okay, we're gonna be a quick one with you, ne?
Because let me just read out the statement that was.
We're gonna read that when I'm done with the call. So I wanted to ask, Ubeke work Shella before or flirt with you before the scene? Or that's the mistake? That's the only thing that happened on set?
No, the only thing he did, which I found a bit weird, was he didn't shella me, he didn't flirt with me before the scene, none of that. But the thing that he did on the scene, he just kept saying some very underhanded comments and denoting that I'm weak. He kept saying this. He kept trying to say, he's like, Nirvana, you when you're on set, if you want people to take you seriously, you gotta show up a little. Sometimes don't greet people so that they can respect you. And and he would just talk about how, and then he would say things the way you show up on set, it's because I would greet people, right? He's like, you're too open. You're too open. It's a bit weak. He would say things like that, and it just made me feel uncomfortable. And after this whole thing happened, I started to think about he really feels like he's entitled to do that to me because he thinks that I'm weak. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I have a last question before I start. I wanna play the devil as advocate here.
Yeah.
So isn't the character that he was playing a psycho character?
Yeah.
It is, ne?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, simple. You remember when you shot Outlast?
Mm-hmm.
There's a complete sex scene there, crazy sex scene.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it happen that even though you rehearsed, the character gets so much into the to the character, or you, let me say a female as you, because you're also touching the brew on that scene, right? Doesn't it happen that you get so invested in the character that you make a mistake and touch the co-star in the wrong way? Doesn't it happen?
Well, then, if that were to happen, we shouldn't be acting. If people can't control themselves, if people don't understand the boundaries, then we shouldn't be acting. Like, my issue is that there was, like, I'll make an example. I'll also play devil's advocate, Mephistos. There was a real knife on set, right? He took the knife, right, and pretended to stab me. So if he can understand the boundary of this real knife in my hand could stab Nirvana, why can't he understand the boundary of my vagina? Like, I said no.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's that simple. Like, if you get carried away acting, right, and you don't know what the line is, that means ungambulala umuntu on set. Uphethe isibhamu sangempela. Uyabona lento engishoyo? So yeah.
Yeah, no, Nota, who's the lady you want to read?
No, I don't think it's necessary to go through it. I actually read the statement and it doesn't seem like it's a verifiable account. But now I just want to know, what is the response been since she made her statements, since she posted? Like, are people in support of her? Does she feel like the industry is supporting her? What are her colleagues saying within the industry? You know, because we know sometimes things are divided.
Okay, so basically, Nota wants to know what's happening now. Are you getting the support and everything from everybody else and the team that you worked with? Is there some sort of movement happening? And to his question, I'm going to add, what do you want to see happen so we can close?
Okay. Well, I definitely have been receiving support from my community, right? Meaning my family, people from Guamashu, people from Denver, Jewel Street, people that I grew up with and went to school with, people who are my genuine fans who don't believe that women deserve to be violated or killed. All of those people are supporting me. All of the people that care about me and believe that, like, I, as a human being, deserve to be respected and that no person must dominate me and think that they are entitled to my body. Those people are supporting me.
Okay.
The others, they're not. And
who are the others, dog?
You can go look on wherever people are publishing this, right?
Okay. So, Nirvana, because I don't have much time, I would like to let you speak because clearly it's going to help. But now I want to know, what do you want to see happen? Okay, he admitted that he made a mistake or is guilty, took responsibility for it. What do you want to see happen?
No, he didn't take responsibility for it. Just saying I'm sorry and saying I take full accountability is not taking accountability, because I requested as a remedy, right? Because when bad things happen, they need to be resolved and amended for. You can't just say I'm sorry and then keep on pushing with your life with no kind of recourse or tangible consequence. And for me, I said to the production, and the production was on board at the time. I don't know when they decided. Well, I actually do know. It was when one of the executives, a white woman in the production, said that I should just go to the cops and they're no longer interested in helping me with the mediation meeting. Fine, that's okay. But I want more people to take ownership of their bodies. In that time, I actually made a presentation proposing a system of accountability within the film industry and a system of quality control. And I'm actually making a Google Drive folder with all of the documentation, all of the correspondence between myself and the production company, the recording of when I went to the police, who were also divided in the definition of sexual assault. So we also have an issue of division of the people upholding the law not understanding the law as well.
Okay, Niva,
all of that,
I'm running out of time.
Wait.
I'm running out of time.
One more thing. I just want to ask, maybe this might be a more on the personal side of things, but after doing sex scenes on things like Netflix, how does that affect your public perception? Let's say off screen, when men approach you now, do they approach you with the sex scenes that they've seen you in mind? Do they treat you like some sort of sexual object now because you've performed in those scenes? And do you feel like being asked to perform in such scenes to bring eyeballs to Netflix, is it fairly compensated for when having to deal with, now being publicly exposed on, a international or global platform?
Well, first of all, I want to say that Netflix is actually doing a good job in terms of creating and cultivating safety for people within the production companies. I would say that in terms of production companies, there's a lot of them that aren't doing the right work, and there's a lot of them who are doing the right work, and those people are divided, right? It's a whole ecosystem, but more often than not, there's a lot of people who are in positions of power that shouldn't be in positions of power, that are basically hijacking what it is that we want for the industry, and which is for people to earn a living in a dignified manner, right? So men, in particular, to your question, harassed me more before I was famous, right? They harassed me more before I was hyper visible. Right. They harassed me more. So to what you're saying, like, before I even did the sex scene, I had been raped twice, right? Before people even saw my body in the public, I was violated when I was a child. What's the point of your question?
No, the point is that I think does the exposure and it being seen public affect you personally after you act in the scenes? Because we understand the sensitivity of now having been violated and someone who's gone through trauma because of your work, and the compensation for the risk of trauma.
Okay. So, in terms of compensation, whether you're doing a sex scene or not, it isn't fair in the film and TV industry. The compensation is not fair, and also, if you, for example, I'm Zulu, right? Or umemulo, like I'm going to do this year, I'm going to be outside, and I'm not sexualized by the Zulu people in my community who actually uphold the values of human dignity. So my body is not inherently a sexual thing, which is why people can still respect me. And also there are people who try to cross the boundary because that's how the whole system is. It has nothing to do with whether you have done a sex scene or not, that people are going to harass you more or not. Right. I was harassed before the sex scene. Okay. In short, what do you want to see happen? Do you want him to get shot? Do you want to see him arrested? Do you want to see him cancelled? What do you want? What do you want to achieve? It's a question. Well, I did ask for a written apology, and they agreed to it. And then they asked me, instead of a written apology, can we do a mediation meeting? And that didn't happen. And then they just isolated me. They abandoned and isolated me. So I don't want anything from my co-star, and I don't want anything from the production company. But what I do want people to do is sign the petition on creating a quality control independent body to regulate the film and television industry. That's what I want.
Thank you so much, Nirvana. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, man. Ash, man, I hope you get that done. I hope you achieve what you're aiming for. And amen. I'll talk to you privately. Yeah, we hope this matter gets resolved, man.
Sorry?
Well, I'm saying we hope this matter gets resolved and everything is settled.
And we hope we've been helpful.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you letting me speak on your platform, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Niva.